Hi there, how's it going? This is going to be a reading with Ivy. This is actually going to be my first reading for someone that I've never met before, someone that I don't really know all that well. We know a little bit about each other, but this person is not like somebody that I grew up with, so I don't know a lot about this person. And I'm talking about my friend Anna in California. I hope you don't mind me calling you Anna. I remember you saying once that you liked people calling you Anna, so I'm going to try to do that tonight. Anyways, so I got a little setup here. I have some incense burning in my little cauldron, which I don't get to use too much, so I wanted to use that. So let's see if I can add some more. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Adds the atmosphere, doesn't it? So, I'm going to shuffle the cards. And what I'm going to do tonight is just a general reading. So I've decided to do the Celtic Cross spread, which is a 10-card spread. If anyone's watching this that is a tarot reader themselves, whether professional or they're being self-taught like myself, there are many variations to the Celtic Cross spread. So I might be doing it a little bit differently than how you do it or how you were taught to do it or something like that. So there are, I would say, countless variations to this spread. But I'm going to do the one that is most comfortable to me for now. So I'm going to shuffle these cards really good. I had them, when you're teaching yourself tarot cards, how to read tarot, it's good to practice, to look at them. So, and I have to put them in order sometimes. So this time it was in order, so I'm going to shuffle them really good. And one way I do that is probably a little bit unconventional, but that's quite alright. I just like to put down one at a time in 3 or 4 piles, so that way I know I get each one separated. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Sorry if it's going to take too long. So one thing I want to say is I'm not used to talking, ever. I talk to my friends, my coworkers, my family, things like that. I'm just not used to talking to myself. I'm very not used to talking to a camera. So if there's long pauses, or if I'm talking too fast, or I might start rambling and making no sense at all, I might start saying a lot. Those are just some of my flaws that I'm trying to work on as I kind of want to do some videos more in the future. So that's just a bit of a disclaimer at the beginning of the video before we get started. Another thing is I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. Let's see what time it's already. Oh god, it's already 9:15 at night. So the sun has gone down here. It's still kind of light outside. But where you are in California, you probably have another 2 or 3 hours left of sunlight, which I think is kind of interesting. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the rest of these. And I'm not doing it, the piles don't mean anything. I'm just separating all the cards just to make sure I know that they are very well shuffled. There we go. So I'm using the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. It's one of the most popular decks. The other, I would say the very most popular deck is the Rider-Waite deck, but I don't want that one. I wanted one that's a little bit different to teach myself with, so that's why I went with this one. And that's what the back of it looks like anyway. And one reason why I'm using my cauldron to burn incense is because I want to run my cards through the smoke to kind of cleanse them a little bit. Oops, sorry. So I didn't mention. So I am using my my Surface Pro 2 camera, and it's a tablet, but it's also like a laptop, and it has a little kickstand. So I wanted to get a good camera angle, and I didn't know what to set it up on. So I have the kickstand taped to the bottom of an empty fish tank, and I put that fish tank over the back of a tall high chair kind of bar stool kind of thing. So that way I have the perfect angle. So I wish you could see it. But anyways, yeah, it's kind of funny. So I don't think you're going to fall. So I had my tablet up here since yesterday and it hasn't fallen yet. So anyways, so yeah, so I accidentally just hit the chair and I didn't want it to fall down. So if you come crashing down, just know that's why. I'm going to add a little bit more. So I'm still getting used to burning incense like this. So it's not going to smoke probably the whole night we're doing this. So as I was saying about the time, I know some readers, they don't like to limit themselves with time. While I know other places, like if you go to get them read professionally, like they'll say, you know, it's $20 for 30 minutes or whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out there. But I got my cards read once by this gentleman. He didn't like to have time limits because then he kind of has to, if you're reading the cards, you have to kind of decide what you're going to tell the person. You don't have time to tell them everything. So I'm not going to limit myself tonight. So it very well might take 45 minutes or an hour or something. I'm not really sure. So yeah, another disclaimer is, I know we kind of want to get right into it, but another disclaimer is, I only really read for myself as I'm just learning a lot. And tarot cards are so vast. I mean, just this week I learned another kind of, I guess, correspondence, I guess if I can call it that, or another way of learning how to read tarot cards. So, like, I was just introduced to that, so that's a whole nother road I can take. So yeah, so I mean, I've got a lot to learn. But it was coming to a point where reading for myself wasn't really working anymore because I kind of knew already what I wanted to get out of the reading. So it was more like I was projecting onto the cards rather than reading the cards and then getting something new from that. So I hope that makes sense. So yes, that's why I kind of wanted to practice with somebody who I've never done a reading for. So Anna was kind enough to be my guinea pig, so thank you very much. And we're already 8 minutes into the video. So over here I have some of my tarot books. In fact, I think this is all of my tarot books. So I might reach for them. I'm not sure. I don't really want to. But this deck is very heavy in symbolism. So if I see a symbol and I think, you know, if I just need a refresher, I might reach for one of these books. I know it's not very professional, but I want to be able to still give you some solid guidance also. See, I'm saying all the time. I'm sorry. So one thing I see why I like the tarot is, while a lot of people call it like divination, I'm still not really getting any like predictions out of the tarot. I don't even know if that's possible, but I use it to kind of get like a new perspective on something or some reassurance on something that's going on in my life. So that's what I see out of it. So that's kind of what I think you're going to get out of it tonight. So, all right, with all that being said, I think we are ready to get started. So, yeah, let me throw on some more incense here because I like the smoke. Magic. All right, so let me just shuffle these up a little bit more one more time. Now, Anna, if you're watching this while I'm shuffling, I'll shuffle for another minute or so. I want you to think about something. Like, I know we talked the other day on the phone and I told you to think about a question. But think about something that maybe that's going on in your life right now. Maybe you need a little bit more clarity on or something, or if you're not sure if you should do this or do that. So I guess just keep an open mind, and then we'll see. Another thing that I'm worried about though is my delivery of the reading. So like I said, I'm not very good at communicating, so I'm just hoping that I can clearly communicate what I'm seeing in the cards. Like, it'll make sense in my head, it's just getting it out so that you can hear it is going to be, I think, a challenge for me, but that's also why I need practice. So alright, I think we're ready to cut the deck. In fact, I think I'm going to do it again. I don't really have a set way to shuffle and cut the deck yet, so it always, anytime, like, even if I was getting like a professional reading done, they tell you like to pick a card out of the pile. I always didn't feel like the card was right until I flipped it over and they started reading it. So anytime like I shuffle, like even now, I'm like, I don't know if like these next cards are going to be the right ones. But I guess we'll see how it turns out. So let's get started. It's already 12 minutes in, I'm sorry. So I like to put them face down and then flip them over one at a time, kind of add a bit of surprise. Alright, and that is what the Celtic cross looks like. So I'm going to put the rest of the cards over here. And let us get started, shall we? So here in the middle is where we start. This is going to be the heart of the matter. And we have the Ten of Wands. It is oppression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show it close to you like that so you can kind of see what it is also. So the Ten of Wands, oppression. So now I can already tell, like I remember like my readings, like what I've read, like what the 10 means, what wands stand for. So it kind of makes sense in my head, but it's just putting it out and starting the actual reading is what I'm having trouble with right now. But wands is the suit of fire, creativity, I guess you can also say like destruction if you want, but usually it's about like passion, creative energy, and things like that. And the number 10 in numerology, which I'm still also learning. Like I said, tarot is very vast, so it encompasses numerology, astrology, all kinds of things, so that I'm not really familiar with. But the 10 of Wands. So the 10, I want to reach for a book right now and then just read like the author's description of what 10 stands for, but I'm not going to do that. 10, to me, the key word that pops out is completion. So almost like the end of a cycle, or you have completed a project. So maybe it was something, you had to put a lot of thought into something, to a creative project, and then you've come to the end of that. I feel like this is not making sense yet, but that's just the basic meaning to the 10 of Wands. I think that's like the generic meaning of it, and I'm not quite at the level where I can really see beyond that. So what I'm going to do, and what tarot readers do, is as they look at the other cards, they kind of read the cards together instead of just individually. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over the next card, so that way maybe I can shed some more light onto the first card. So what crosses the heart of the matter we have is the Four of Discs. It's also called Power. So I actually really like this card a lot. This one's come up a few times in my personal readings, and I think I just like it because, like I said, tarot has a lot to do with numerology. So the number 4 to me represents like stability and structure, which you can tell by this structure right here. Boundaries makes you think of like what kind of things we have 4 of, like we have 4 seasons, 4 directions on a map, 4 legs on a table or a chair. So very stable is what I think I get out of this. And it's also interesting how it's like the same color orange. So orange is another thing. Another thing in tarot is colors. So orange is related to the sacral chakra. That is the second chakra up above the root chakra. And that also has to do a lot with passion. Chakras are one thing that I started to read about a few years ago, but I kind of forgot a lot about them. So there we go. So now how does that cross the question? So